Coach. All right, Daryl, you're up first.
Yeah, John, I know the situation is different with COVID and all, but has it been good for your guys to kind of get out of town, team bonding aspect wise?
I talked about that to the team when we left. I told them about the NBA bubble. Miami was in 5th place. And when I talked to anyone in the bubble, they said there were 2 teams that bonded unbelievably well. And the leadership on the team brought the team together, from coffee to wine rooms and that was Miami and that was LA. And look who was in the finals. So I said, use this time to be together. But it's hard because, being in rooms together and all that, so you try to have spaces where they can go together. But yeah, we talked about it. The team's coming together. The reason they are coming together is because they're playing for each other. Like, you could say, well, why doesn't he shoot more? Or he does if he's making shots, or if he's open, or if you're not open, guess what? You can't shoot it. And they're playing for each other. Let me do my thing. I got to get mine. Well, we saw where that led us. And so now it's taken time, but they're becoming a team. But like the Super Bowl, I asked, how many of you came together and watched the Super Bowl together? I mean, all that stuff these kids have missed out on, and it's affected us. But I'm happy with the climb right now. I've been happy for 3 weeks. We just needed to break through and win a game. But they're coming together as a team. They're figuring each other out. We're figuring them out. So we'll see from here. Tough game today, though. This team, or tomorrow, they're very physical. A lot of fouls called early because they came in with a physical present. They were going to come in and knock us into the cheerleaders, and the officials called fouls. So, if it's that kind of game, my hope is it's the same way. Fouls are fouls, whether it's in Lex or in Knoxville.
Coach, we have a visiting media person today, Alder from Empire Sports Media in New York. Go ahead, Alder.
Hi, Coach. Good morning. Coach, I would like to ask 2 questions about first, you've coached both Derrick Rose and Immanuel Quickley. I would like to get your perspective on their fit with each other and D. Rose being a mentor to Quickley.
Well, let me say this. Both the similarities, both terrific people and terrific teammates. Derrick Rose he would never take a picture unless his teammates were with him. He didn't want the stuff by himself. Immanuel's the same way. All the good stuff he's doing and how he's playing, you listen, he'll defer to his team. He's an unbelievable teammate. They're that way. They're different in that Immanuel was more of a shooting scorer. Both had great runners or floaters, both of them. Derrick wanted to pass first, at least when I got him. That's what he was. He passed first and then looked to score. Immanuel's more of a scorer who can pass. So they're different in that way. But I'm going to tell you, both, there's not one time I don't text them or talk to them where they won't say, love you, coach. I mean, these are great human beings, great young men.
Coach,
Jerry, go ahead. One more, Alder.
Just one more. Julius Randle's playing at a different level this season. What's the impact of having Kenny Payne back in his corner and having Coach Tibbs as a coach?
Yeah, and one of the things I told the Knicks when they were considering Kenny, I said, understand now, the guy, if you want to see what Julius can be, he's a good guy because they have a great relationship, and Kenny will push him and make him uncomfortable till he's comfortable being uncomfortable. It's, how it's done. And I also told him Kevin Knox, who was playing really good early, you're going to find out what he is. Now, they're not playing him as much because they're trying to get other guys minutes to try to figure out who's who. But I think it's been great. I think Julius is having an all-star year. And the Knicks, if they stay in this playoff hunt where they're in there, there's no reason that, Julius in the biggest market, averaging a double-double, just dragging team and motivating his team and doing what he's doing, there's no reason for that not to happen for him personally.
Jerry Tipton.
Yeah, John, Isaiah has really filled up the box scores the last couple of games or so. And I'm wondering about the adjustment he's made maybe to the more physical play in in college, and what sort of physical challenge does Tennessee present for him?
Well, they'll get into his body. But what he's doing is he's making plays. Again, I always say, fall back on your training. Here are the shots you should be taking. Fall back on your training. There are times you had seen him drive and just throw the ball, and you're like, why would you do that? Well, that's not something we're teaching. There were charges where he'd lower his shoulder and run people over. We're not teaching that. We're not trying. You don't have that kind of strength. So it takes time. But, what he can do athletically with his length, you see that he shoots it better than everybody thinks he does. Part of that is, if you're open, shoot the ball. If you're 0 for 10, that is on me because I left you in. Shoot the ball if you're open. And so now you're seeing him take open shots that he's comfortable that he can make. And he's not, and even like I've said before, if they take a bad shot, I'm not really saying much because I don't want them to have any excuse. Well, I thought that may be a bad shot. You were wide open. It wasn't no. If you're not making shots, get in that gym. Get in that gym and build your confidence.
And shot blocking, John, how much of that is a knack and how much of it is a teachable thing?
It's more of a knack. It's a twitch that, again, you are not blocking it in his hand. So it takes a skill, a twitch that you let him release it and then you go get the ball. And I've had some of the best, and I'll tell you this, he's doing some good stuff.
John Hale.
Cal, how much direction have you gotten from the SEC on what the makeups are going to look like? Do you still have hope that you're going to get both makeups in? And could you possibly even reschedule a game to replace Texas that last week? We could reschedule. I don't think we only have one league game to make up. And I don't know. I imagine it would probably be, what I might do is if they're saying we're not making up that game based on seeding, they'll make it like South Carolina's missed a lot of games. So they can't play 5 games or 4 games in a week. So which games are the most important that they make up for the seeding? Whatever that is, if we're not one of them and we have a week, yes, I'd try to schedule a couple games. As a matter of fact, I've had a couple athletic director friends of mine who are at mid-majors that have said, hey, if you want to play us, let us know. So that's a possibility.
Kent Spencer.
John, the first time around against Tennessee, you kind of said their guards bullied your guards. This time around, is that a personal challenge? Do you challenge your guards, or is that something that has to be a total team effort to keep them, out of the lane and away from that basket?
Well, all they did when they got down 10 is spread the court and went on the bounce. So it's a combination. The guy who's guarding the ball, you can't let him straight line drive because we can't help you. You got to stay in front, but you can't get bullied. The other guys were playing hopefully better team defense than we did at that point. But they're good. They scored 50 points, 2 players, 50. The one thing of all the tape that I'm watching now, they're making threes too. So you can't just say collapse in the lane because if they make a ton of threes, they're really hard to beat. But if 2 players are getting 50, they're hard to beat. They're a good team. That's why they're a highly ranked team. That's why they, there's predictions for them to advance. Rick's done a great job with his team. Very physical play. The biggest thing is we got to be ready for the fight and put ourselves, you got to play low to the floor. You can't just get pushed around. And if you're standing straight up and down, you will. Guards, you're going to get pushed off a ball or off of screens. You got to be prepared for it. You got to be ready. And it's a man's game. But look, I'm so proud of these guys their attitude. We came here yesterday and practiced and had a good practice. And there was no gnawing of the teeth. They were excited to be in the gym again. So this team has withstood. And again, I say this, the hard thing here, the whole experience here is creating habits in the summer, successful habits. In the fall, competitive coming together, team building. Our fans, this is a fans, raving fans program. They haven't gotten to witness any of the good. And some of the social media stuff, it hasn't been good, but our record hadn't been good. And people have a right to say what they want to say and have their opinions. So that they've got none of the good. And so, and we've lost how many games down in the last minute? You would think that this team, nah, they didn't. And nor the staff, nor me. I'm having a ball because I'm adding stuff every game, and this is a smart team. There were some things we did against Vandy that helped us win the game that were added 2 days before, and both defensively and offensively. So every game I'm walking in, looking at tweaking this, knowing the other guys watching. I'm having fun with it. But at the end of the day, you need daggers from the free throw line, daggers from the floor. And then you need somebody to do something, like we tried to advance a loose ball. Then we fouled. Our other guard didn't go in on a ball that bounced his way, like that. We don't go get it. We turn it over versus the press. I mean, because guys aren't coming back. That's a dagger play. Come back and get it and get fouled and go make two. That's a dagger play. So we're still learning that, but it looks like we're getting different group guys now that accept what I'm saying. Here's what a dagger is. I'm not afraid to miss this shot. And if I miss it, give me another one. I'm going to make the next one. That's a dagger. If I miss this, you ain't making that one. Geez, I can't. Or you just run and you try to jump in a crack and hope no one looks at you. Don't throw it to me. You can't be that dagger. And it looks as though we got, BJ made free throws. Olivier made free throws. Obviously, Davion and Devin made free throws. And again, we've had a couple games now. If we made free throws down the stretch, those are daggers too. And I showed them the made free throws and said, dagger, dagger, dagger. Yeah, they could be from the free throw line. How about you miss a front end one-on-one and they come down and make a three? Well, you stabbed us in the neck. That's the dagger. So, they're getting better recognizing and knowing when they're in that moment. There's a moment, and trying to teach them to don't be afraid of it. Go for it.
All right, last questions with Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, Cal, when the record kind of gets ugly for a while, we tend to focus on what's wrong, what's going bad. But you guys all season have been one of the best shot blocking teams in the country. You've got a guy in Isaiah who's one of the better individual interior defenders in the country. Is that something
Olivier too?
Is that something that you've kind of held on to even as it was a struggle that, okay, we have one thing I know we do really well, if we can maintain that, and get some of this other stuff going, the offense going, that you have a chance.
You're saying, Kyle, one part of defense. You're saying one part, which is shot blocking. What does shot blocking make them do? If they know there's somebody in there, they're shooting mid-range shots, which are a lower percentage. You look at our field goal percentage defense, it's been pretty good. For a team with this kind of record, our defensive numbers are like, that's ridiculous. How will they have that kind of record? Well, if you watch the last 2 minutes of some of our games, you'd say, okay, I see. And so shot blocking is a part of it. Olivier and Keon also are blocking shots. I mean, those two are getting shots that are being blocked. So, but again, this thing, and I said it from day one, the fight you have. We have a couple guys on the team. Could you imagine if they had more fight in them to go get balls, to go on layups and make and ones instead of flips? Fight for that. I'm not trying to, could you imagine a couple of these guys, if we get them to fight? And now you not only have Isaiah fighting and other guys fighting, you have everybody fighting. That's what this becomes. But shot blocking is part of our defense.
Cal, when
And,
you say that, when you mention how it not only when you block the shot, but how it affects how they approach you. I mean, does it all start for you with that you have this serious threat of sending it back the other way that affects how they have to approach you all the way around?
we say they hear Casper. They hear ghosts. They know you drive in there, you don't know where the hell it's coming from, but Casper's in there. And so, you know, look, let me just come back to, this has been uncharted waters for me, us, them, and they're fighting and doing everything they can for the program, for our state, for our fans. They haven't backed up one bit. And for the fans who have been great to us and me personally, and I say it again, they've been great. I understand that when your record's struggling, there'll be people that come out and have their opinions, or, you know, haven't had a chance to really say anything for 11 years to come out. I'm fine with all that. Doesn't bother me. But I'll say this, our fans are what this program's about, and how they've been to me through this and how they've been to this team through this. Unbelievable. And, you know, like, none of us are used to this. None of us are used to this pandemic either. And none of us are used to all that's gone on late, where we're still teaching and still learning. And that's this experience. But like I said, tough game tomorrow afternoon. Whew. But you know what? Let's go. Let's see where we are. Let's keep learning about each other. Let's see what we have to do to keep this climb going, because that's what it is. It's about this climb. Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.